kindly inviting me once again to today's session on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, English explanation with the commentary of Sri Jiva Goswami. Now, before we begin, it is our Shisht Parampara to perform some Mangalacharan. So, I will begin by performing Mangalacharan. Most of us know these verses. You can kindly sing along with me. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले सोऽयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। So thank you once again, all of you dear devotees who are present here today in this session of Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu with the commentary of Srila Jiva Goswami. And we were looking at the first verse, Akhila Rasamrita Murti, and we had seen that this verse has two different layers of meanings, what we call as paksha in Sanskrit poetics. First is Krishna paksha and the second was Chandra paksha. So we were exploring what is Krishna paksha, what is the Krishna centric meaning of the term Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Now that we have learned that, so just a few things remaining. There also we were discussing, Srila Jiva Goswami specified that the gopis who are listed in the verse, there is some order, there is some hierarchy in the way in which the gopis are listed in the verse. So Prasavara Ruchiruddha Taraka Pali. So first is the Kanishtha gopis, they are Taraka Pali, and Kalita Shama Lalito. So Shama and Lalita, they are the Madhyama gopis, and the highest is Radha. So Radha Prayan Vidur Jayati. So there is a sequence, and then we saw all of that sequence, and then we came to the to the topmost limit of that hierarchy, where Srimati Radharani is being glorified, and Sri Jiva Goswami was giving pramanas from various scriptures. Sri Jiva Goswami next says that there is a praman also in what is known as Rik Parishishta Shruti. So what is Rik? Rik is Rig Ved. Parishishta means what is known as supplementary portion. So in the supplementary portion of the Rig Veda, Api also we find the verse Radhaya Madhavo Devo Madhave Naiva Radhika Vibhrajante Janeshwa iti. So Radhaya Madhavo Devo. Here there is Tritiya Vibhakti, Radhaya, instrumental case. Instrumental case is used in the meaning of Saha, Saharthe Tritiya, which means along with Radha. So the meaning of Radhaya is along with Radha. Along with Radha is Madhav Dev, our Lord Madhav. And say Madhavena, again Tritiya, instrumental case. Along with Madhav, Eva Radhika, there is only Radhika. So along with Radha, there is Madhav. Along with Madhav, there is Radhika. Vibhrajante Janeshu. They appear effulgent amongst all entities in the spiritual world. Janeshu a iti. So Jiva Goswami says, Ata eva, therefore ahuhu. Therefore it is said, Anaya Radhito Nunam. Srimad Bhagavatam says that only by her was Bhagavan Shri Krishna worshipped very nicely during the Rasalila pastime. Therefore she is known as Shri Radha. So this is where we had, till this point we had covered. Anybody wants to ask anything from what we had done last time? So now is the chance before we go into the Chandra Paksh. So anybody wants to ask something about Krishna Paksh, please, now is your chance. Okay, Pranjal Prabhu, you want to ask something? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Just a small doubt. You said this supplementary, this Rig Veda, it is a Parishishta, supplementary. Supplementary means it is something not that important Veda, or it is equivalent to important Rig Veda, because Radha Krishna is the most important thing, it is coming supplementary. This point means supplementary. That is the question.
Right. So the thing is, Radha Krishna is the most important subject matter of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Why are they found in supplementary portion? So they are not only in supplementary portion, even in the Vedas they are there. Like Gopal Tapani Upanishad is Atharva Veda, it is directly from Atharva Veda. So it is from Atharva Veda, and Atharva Veda there is directly the name of Krishna, and Srimati Radharani's name is mentioned there as Gandharvika. So you directly in Shruti also you will find. But he also quotes another Shruti, that is Rig Parishishta. Now what is Parishishta? Parishishta is supplementary. Now today if you see, have they published any part of any supplementary portion of the Vedas? So yes, they have published a supplementary portion of the Vedas. So I tried to find if they have published any supplementary portion of the Vedas. So I found out in my research that a supplementary portion of the Vedas has been published. So this is Rig Veda, published in Pune, Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapit, Pune. This is Rig Veda, published. And then there is a Khila, if you can see on the left side, Khila, Khilani. Khilani means basically miscellaneous supplementary portions that were not found in all the manuscripts. So in this Khilani, you will find many, variations. So there are certain hymns which are found in certain variations. So that they have included in the Khila section. So in the Khila section are those which are not usually found in the Rig Veda, but they are in others. So Atha Khilani. So now Khila section, now the supplementary section, Prathamodhyaya. So this is the Khila, or Parishishta Bhaga of Rig Veda basically. So there are many in this. So we will have to look through this. Maybe it may be here, it may not be here. But in Rupa Goswami's time, he had found it in the Khila section of the Rig Veda. If you directly want to see it in the Veda, you can find it in Gopal Tapani Upanishad. I hope that satisfies your query to some extent.
Thank you very much.
Let's go back. Any other question, Sri Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu?
No problem. We can move on. Yeah.
Okay. Now everyone can see the screen once again. Atha. Shri Jiva Goswami says Atha. Now, Shlokartha Vyakhya. So now we are again going to the Vyakhya, explanation of the shloka artha, of the meaning of the verse. But tatra eka shleshena. Now what is shlesh? Shlesha means pun, means which means you are one meaning. So we have seen already Krishna Paksh. So tatra eka shleshena. Now we will see the another Paksha, Chandra Paksha. By doing that, what does he do? Upamam suchayams. He, Rupa Goswami, is denoting a comparison. Upama. Upama is a figure of speech, simile. So it denotes a comparison between two objects. So by the second meaning, he is denoting a comparison between the two vidhus. So we know what are the two vidhus. The first vidhu is Shri Krishna. The second vidhu is Chandra. And Taya Artha Vishesham Pushnati. So by the second meaning, Artha Vishesham, a special meaning, Pushnati, he is deriving and he is nourishing a second meaning. Okay. But somebody may say, why would Sri Rupa Goswami want to compare a transcendental entity like Krishna to a mundane entity like the moon? So answer is given by Jiva Goswami. Sarva Laukika Atitepi. Although Krishna is transcendental to all material objects, Tasmin, but still in that Krishna, Laukika Artha Vishesha Upama Dwara. So by giving some comparison which belongs to a worldly object, by giving some comparison with a worldly object like the moon, what will happen? Lokanam buddhi praveshah syat. Somehow people's mind will be able to understand Krishna, because people's mind understand only worldly objects. So by giving a worldly object as a comparison with Krishna, somehow people will be able to understand Krishna's nature. Iti kenapi amshena upameyam. So in some way, we have our, comparison, and this comparison basically, is between Krishna and the moon. So somehow, by some way, we can understand Krishna a little bit. Therefore, the comparison has been done with an object which we have already seen in the world. That object is moon. Now, we saw many reasons for Krishna being Vidhu. Does anybody remember how many reasons we saw for Krishna being Vidhu? Can anybody tell me? Hare Krishna. Yes, please tell me.
4, Prabhuji, 4.
4 reasons. Now, see here. See, Jiva Goswami says, Sarva tamas tapaja dukkha shamakatvena. Our Vidhu, our moon also has some capability. What capability does our Vidhu have? Shamakatva. Shamakatva means it is able to calm down. Calm down what? Calm down dukkha. Dukkha means distress, born out of tamas tapaja, born either out of the heat, tapa, or either out of the darkness, tamas. So there are 2 reasons for unhappiness in the material world, especially in the weather. One is heat, one is darkness. So sarva tamas tapaja dukkha shamakatvena. So the moon destroys both types of distress. Distress caused by heat, distress caused by darkness. Both are destroyed by the moon. So similarly, Krishna also destroys suffering. The moon also destroys suffering. Sarva sukhadattvena cha. And the moon gives pleasure to everyone in the world. Just like our Vidhu gave sukha to everyone. Cha tatra purvavat. So similarly, like we derived Vidhu before, Nirukti Paryavasane Vicharyamane. If we think about one planet who is fulfilling all these criteria, then Raka Pate Reva Vidutvam Mukhyam. So Raka Pati. Raka basically means night. Pati means the Lord of the night. So Raka Pati means Lord of Raka, Lord of night. So that is moon. If we think clearly, who is that one planet that calms down all distress and gives all happiness? Then Rakapati, the Lord of the night, the moon eva vidutvam. So the moon itself will exclusively be known as Vidhu. Mukhyam paryavasati iti. So our search for Vidhu will end in moon. And Sarvatah Prabhavat. So how is the moon, able to do so? How is the moon able to destroy all suffering and bestow all happiness? Sarvatah Prabhavat. So basically, its effect is felt all over the world. And Purnatamamshena cha. And basically, it is, the moon also is as full as Krishna. So the moon is also full moon, and Krishna is also being compared to a full moon, basically. So somebody may say, well, you could have compared it to the sun. Why compared to the moon? So Jiva Goswami says, Evam Suryadinam Tapa Shamatvadi Nasti iti. So the sun does not have the capability to destroy heat. Sun produces heat. Sun doesn't have Tapa Shamatva. So it doesn't have the capacity to cool down. Therefore, na upamana yogyata. So our sun cannot become upaman. What is upaman? What is upameya? Please listen carefully. First is the figure of speech, upama. What is the meaning of upama? Simile. Simile means comparison between two objects is known as simile. This is our figure of speech, upama. For example, Krishna is like the moon. This is upama. So in this, we are comparing two objects. One is Krishna, one is moon. In this, we have upaman and we have upameya. So what is upaman? What is upameya? So we need to understand these terms. Does anybody know what is upaman and upameya? Has anybody studied before what is upaman and upameya? These are technical terms.
No, Prabhuji.
Huh?
Not studied.
Not studied. Okay. So we have to understand what is upaman and what is upameya. So upaman and upameya basically are, upaman is object of comparison, and upameya is subject of comparison. So who are we comparing? Krishna. So who is our subject of comparison? Krishna. Who are we comparing it to? The moon. So our object of comparison is known as upaman. Upaman is, and this comparison is known as upama, simile. So this is the figure of speech. Upama, we have upaman and upameya. So devotees, if you want to write down, please write down these. This is going to be very helpful in our future study of literature. What is upama? What is upaman? What is upameya? Please write this down. Please let me know when everyone has written down.
Done, Prabhuji.
Done. Now, there is also another term which should be noted. What is that? Upaman, Upameya, and then there is Sadharan Dharma. What is Sadharan Dharma? What is common between Upaman and Upameya? What is common between Upaman and Upameya? Okay, so that is called Sadharan Dharma. For example, if I say to someone that you are as intelligent as Brihaspati, so I am giving a Upama, simile. So I am saying you are the subject of comparison, are as intelligent as Brihaspati. Brihaspati is Upama, an object of comparison. And there is a Sadharan Dharma. What is common between both of them? Intelligence is common. So what is common between both of them? Intelligence. That common factor is called Sadharan Dharma. Here between the Upaman and Upameya, between the moon and between Krishna, what is the Sadharan Dharma? Can anybody tell me?
They have a quality of reducing the heat or tap.
Yes. So they have ability to reduce heat. They have ability to bestow happiness. There are many Sadharan Dharmas which are common between Krishna and the moon. So ability to calm down heat, and heat basically means burning sensation, and ability to bestow joy upon all. So these are Sadharan Dharma. What is common between Upaman and Upameya? Sadharan Dharma. All right. Tataha. So because of these characteristics, that is cooling down heat and giving happiness, Tataha, by that, Viduhu Sarvatra Utkarshena Vartate. So Viduhu Jayati. Basically, our Vidu, our moon, is Sarvatra, everywhere, Utkarshena Vartate. It reigns supreme. Iti Labhyate. And this is understood. Now, in our Krishna Paksh, we saw Jayati is present tense. So, what is in their present tense? Jayati means is victorious, is constantly victorious. So we did a present tense there because Krishna is always ever present. So Krishna never disappears. He may disappear from our mundane vision, but Krishna is always present in Vrindavan. So he has not really disappeared. Therefore, Jayati means present tense. Even today, he is victorious over everyone else. But what about moon? Why is Jayati? The moon is victorious above everyone else. Why is Jayati having present tense here also? So he says Vartamana Prayoga Amshastu. So the use of present tense is Prati Riturajam Eva Tat Rupataya Anuvritte. So because in every Rituraj, what is Rituraj? In every king of season. What is the king of season? So king of season is spring season. Madhav Mas. So in every Madhav Mas, in every spring season, Tat Rupataya Anuvritte. So we see the full moon in its complete majestic, capabilities. Therefore, the moon is the one which is being indicated here. Jiva Goswami says, Evam, in this way, Visheshya Samyam Darshayitva. Now we have shown that both vidhus are common. Visheshya means the noun is common for both Krishna and the moon. Now Visheshyanepi. Now the adjectives also. Samyam Darshayati. Rupa Goswami will show that the adjectives are also common to both of them, to the moon and to Krishna. How will he show? Through the verse Akhila Iti Adevi, Akhila Rasamrita Murti, etc. So what is the meaning of Akhila Rasamrita Murti in the case of the moon? This is Akhilo Akhando Rasaha Aswado Yatra. So Akhila Rasa means Akhanda Ras. Basically, it means unbroken Ras. Aswado Yatra. And the tasting of that Rasa is there happening on that moon planet. Because on the moon planet, there are various demigods who relish rasa, nectar. Tadrisham amrutam. So that sort of nectar is known as piyusham. So tad atmikaiva murtir mandalam yasya. So whose round form is nothing but personification of that nectar. So Akhila Rasamrita Murti means personified form of the nectar of the gods, basically. So that is the moon. Now, Sri Jiva Goswami says, Atra Shabdena Samyam. So term is common. Akhila Rasamrita Murti, term is common between Krishna Paksha and Chandra Paksha. But Rasaniyatva Amshena Arthena Pi Yojyam. But some meaning is also common. What meaning is common? Rasaniyatva Amshena. A specific portion of the meaning is common. So Krishna can also be relished, Rasaniya, and the nectar of the moon is also Rasaniya. So Rasaniyatva Amshena, Arthena Api Yojyam. So in some meaning also there is commonality. So not only there is commonality of words, but there is also commonality of some meaning between both of them. Tatha. Now next, the next adjective was Prasibhari Ruchi Ruddha Taraka Pali. So what is the meaning? Tatha Prasrimravi Ruchibihi Kantivihi. So by the spreading out effulgence, the moon is doing something. Ruddha, Ruddha means Avrita. He has completely overshadowed. What has he overshadowed? Taraka Nam Pali Shreni. So Taraka Pali means Shreni. The multitudes of tarakas, of stars. So he has overcome multitudes of stars. Yena Purvavat. So just like before, Nija Kanti Vashikrita Kanti Mati Gana Virajamanatvam Shenapi Geyam. So just as Krishna, through his Kanti, he controls all the gopis. Similarly, the moon, through its Kanti, its effulgence, controls all the so stars and other planets. So in this regard, there is similarity in meaning also. So now the third is Kalita Shyama Lalito. Kalita Shyama Lalito. So before explaining Kalita Shyama Lalito, in Krishna Paksha, it means Kalita Shyama and Lalita. So he has kept together Shyama and Lalita. He has embraced Shyama and Lalita. So here Jiva Goswami says, Tatha Shyama tu Valgulau Aprasutanganayam cha tatha Soma Lashtau Latau Shadhau. So, and Trivrita Shariva Gundra Nisha Krishna Priyangushu Iti Vishwa Prakashat. So he gives the meaning of Shyama from the Vishwa Prakash Kosh. So Shyama can mean many things. So Valgulau, it can mean Valguli. Valguli is one Ayurvedic medicine. Aprasuta Anganayam. Shyama also means a lady who has never given birth to a child. Tatha Somalata Aushadhau. It also refers to a Somalata Aushadhi. Trivrita Shariva Gundra Nisha Krishna Priyangushu. So there are many meanings. Gundra, one meaning is Nisha. This meaning we are interested in. Nisha. Because one meaning of Shama is Nisha. Nisha, what does Nisha mean? Nisha means Ratri, the night. So this meaning of Shama we are interested in. So what is the meaning of Kalita Shama Lalito? So he says Kalitam, Uri Kritam. Kalitam means he has Uri Kritam. He has accepted Shamaya. Shamas. Shama, what meaning he has taken? Ratrer, the nights. Lalitam. Lalitam means Vilaso, the various beautiful pastimes of the night the moon has embraced. Yena iti. Ratri Vilasatvena Pigeyam. So this is also common between Krishna and moon. Krishna also has delightful pastimes at night. The moon also has delightful pastimes at night. So, and finally is Radha Prayan. So Jiva Goswami says, Tatha Radhayam. So Radhayam means upon Radha. Upon Radha. But who is Radha in Chandra Paksha? Vishakha Namnyam Tarayam. So Radha is the name of the Vishakha constellation. Prayan, Adhika Pritiman. So he's especially very loving upon the Vishakha nakshatra. And that too, why? What is the reason? So Rituraj Purnimaya Tad Anugamitvat iti. So because on Rituraj is the king of all seasons, spring, Purnima. So on the Purnima Tithi of the spring season, Tad Anugamitvat, the moon is following after the Vishakha nakshatra or the Radha nakshatra. Basically, Radha is nothing but another name for Vishakha nakshatra. Tad Anugati Matra Sadhya Swa Vaibhava Vigyatvam api Geyam. So by following the Vishakha nakshatra, by following Radha, the moon exhibits its Vaibhava, its glory. Similarly, by following Radha, Krishna also exhibits his glory. So that is common between both of them. So then he says, Jiva Goswami says, Upamanasya cha etani visheshanani. So the Upaman, what is Upaman? Upaman is object of comparison, moon. So all these adjectives of the moon, Utkarsha Vachikani, they denote the superiority of the moon. And Suryades Tadrisha Murtitva Abhavat, and other planets, even the sun, don't have all these such murtis. They don't have such forms like the moon. Why? So Tara Nashana Kriyatvena. As soon as the sun rises, the stars immediately disappear. The stars immediately disappear as soon as the sun rises. When the moon rises, what happens? When the moon rises, the stars become even more beautiful. But when the sun rises, the stars immediately disappear. And Tat Sahitya Shobhitva Abhavat. And with the moon, the stars appear beautiful, but with the sun, there is no star which appears beautiful. So, Sukha Vishesha Kara Ratri Vilasa Bhavat. And the sun doesn't exhibit any pastimes in the night. The night gives a lot of joy, but the sun doesn't exhibit pastimes at the night. Tadrisha Vigyatva Anavivyaktesh. So the sun cannot exhibit the same characteristics as the moon. Therefore, the sun cannot be an object of comparison with Krishna. So this is the Chandra Paksh. Does anybody want to ask anything about Chandra Paksh? Please ask now, because now the commentary on the first verse is about to end. Please ask if you want to ask anything. Sri Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu is there?
We've just gone out for some time, Prabhuji. But we are here.
Anybody wants to ask?
Prabhuji, here about moon, Akhil Rasamrit Murti, the only meaning what is told is that moon it gives a cooling effect. That's the only thing which is given. I could not connect it, Prabhuji.
Akhila Rasamrita Murti means Akhila Rasa. What is Akhila Rasa basically? Let's go above and see. So see, Akhila means Akhanda, unbroken. Rasa means Aswada, taste. Yatra Tadrisham Amritam. There is unbroken nectarian taste. That is Akhila Rasa Amrita. That is nectar which is available on the moon, the nectar of the gods. Piyusham. Tad Atmika Eva Murti Mandalam Yasya. Whose form is, whose murti is made out of that nectar, Akhila Rasa Amrita. So that is Akhila Rasa Amrita Murti. So Akhila Rasa means Akhanda Rasa, means unbroken Rasa. What is Rasa meaning here? What is the meaning of Rasa here? Aswada. So unbroken experience of taste is Akhila Rasa. And that unbroken experience of taste is basically what? Amrita, the nectar, Piyusha, which is available on the moon. And that nectarian murti is called Akhila Rasamrita Murti because the moon's form is made out of such nectar.
That means in material world, as Jiva Goswami is saying, to compare, I mean, material people can only compare with material object. So that means in material world, the most beautiful object, the moon is considered to be the most beautiful object. Is it so?
Yeah, amongst all the objects, so Rupa Goswami has found Vidhu or the moon to be closest in characteristics to Krishna.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else wants to ask anything? Sri Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu coming back? We'll wait for him.
Prabhuji, we can go ahead. Prabhuji asked me to carry forward. Here, as of now, we don't have any questions. If you wish,
Okay.
we can go ahead.
Okay. He'll take some time.
Yeah, Prabhuji will take some time. Yes.
Okay. So Jiva Goswami then gives 2-3 verses. So Jiva Goswami is declaring something before he, concludes the commentary to the first verse. So first in this verse, he explains why is it called Durgama Sangamani. Why is the commentary called Durgama Sangamani? Durgama means only the difficult words. And Sangamani means, this commentary will walk with us only and help us only with the difficult terms or difficult places. So what is the reason why also not the easy places? So Sri Jiva Goswami says, Siddhanta Rasabhavana Kanyalankarayorapi Anantatvat Sputatvat Cha Vyajyate Durgamam Tviha. Siddhanta. So there are Siddhantas given in this book. Rasa. There are rasas given in this book. Bhavanam. And there are bhavas mentioned in this book. And Dhvani. There are indirect suggestions mentioned in this book. Alankara. There are figures of speech in this book. Api. All these things. Anantatva. These things are all they are infinite. There are many, almost infinite Siddhantas in this book. Infinite rasas. Uncountable alankars and sputatvacha, and many of them are already very clear. They don't need any extra explanation. Therefore, vyajyate. I am explaining durgamam tu iha, only the difficult portions. Because if I start explaining also the easy portions, then the easy portions are so vast that it will be the writing a commentary will become unfeasible. Next. He says, Likhanam sarvam evasmin. Whatever has been written here in this literature, Ashanka Nasha Garbhitam, has been written to destroy all the doubts. Vrithatva Shankayatvatra, any false doubts that this literature is increasing my doubts. Na avadheyam abuddhivihi. So less intelligent people should not keep any doubts in this literature. This literature and the commentary have been written to destroy all the doubts. And finally, he says, Grantha Kritam Swarasyat Katichit Pathastu Ye Maya Tyakta Natra Nishtam Chintyam Tesham Abhishtam Hi. So Grantha Kritam Swarasyat Katichit Pathastu Ye Maya Tyakta. There are some verses and some readings in the book which I have not commented upon. Na atra anishtam chintyam. Don't think that I don't want to comment upon them. It's because these some additional readings have become introduced in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So chintyam tesham abhishtam hi. So I desire only the welfare of everybody. Please don't think why I have not commented upon each and every verse. So don't have any doubts about this. I will comment on the difficult sections. So this is Jiva Goswami's commentary to first verse of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Here ends the first verse. Now comes the second verse, dear devotees. This verse is in the meter Arya. Arya, slightly difficult to sing. Still, I will try to sing this verse. Mangalacharan verse. There are three types of Mangalacharan verses. Can anybody tell me what are the three types of Mangalacharan verses? Three types of Mangalacharan verses.
Vastu Nirdesh, indicating the object of the literature, offering obeisances and blessings to the audience.
Okay. So three types of Mangalacharan are Ashirvadatmaka, offering benedictions or blessings to the audience. Namaskriyaatmaka, offering obeisances. Vastu Nirdeshatmaka, and describing something, describing our desired person or desired object. These are the three types of Mangalacharan. They are mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita also. So this Mangalacharan is Namaskriyaatmaka. Namaskriyaatmaka means offering obeisances to one's Ishtadev. Because Vande Chaitanya Devasya. So obeisances to the lotus feet of that Chaitanya Dev. So this is obeisances. So this is Namaskriyaatmak. Basically, Namaskriyaatmak is offering obeisances to the worshipable deity. So I will quickly recite the verse and then we will try to see the meanings. So this is the verse in Arya meter. Hridiyasya preranaya pravartitoham varaka rupopi प्रवर्तितोऽहं वराकरूपोऽपि तस्य हरेः पदकमलं वन्दे चैतन्यदेवस्य. So this is the second verse. So this verse is in the meter Arya. Arya is slightly difficult meter. So let's see the word for word. Vande, I glorify. Glorify what? Padakamalam. Padakamalam, the lotus feet. Tasya, of that Hari. Harehe. Chaitanya Devasya, who is also known as Chaitanya Dev. Yasya Preranaya, by whose inspiration. Hridi, in my heart. Aham Pravartitah, I am engaged in composing this work. Api, although Varaka Rupaha, I am Rupa, who is Varaka. Varaka basically, the direct meaning of Varaka is Rupa, who is very fallen or who is very degraded. So this is the meaning. So can anybody read in sequence? Please, if you have the mic, whosoever has the mic, please read in sequence. I glorify the lotus feet. Please read.
I glorify the lotus feet of that Hari, known as Chaitanya Dev, by whose inspiration in my heart I am engaged in composing the work, although I am Rupa, who is very degraded.
Yes. So this is the meaning of the verse. See, if you just arrange properly, then you get the direct meaning. हृदयस्य प्रेरणया, हिंदी में we will say हृदय में जिनकी प्रेरणा से प्रवर्तितो हम, मैं लगा हुआ हूं इस काम में, बट वराक रूपोपी, यद्यपि मैं वराक रूप हूं, अतिशय दीनहीन रूप हूं. तस्य हरेः पद कमलम वंदे, उन हरि के चरण कमलों को मैं वंदना करता हूं. उन चैतन्य देव के, हरि के चरण कमलों की मैं वंदना करता हूं, जिनकी प्रेरणा से मैं वराक होते हुए भी, दीनहीन होते हुए भी, मैं इस भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु को लिखने में लगा हुआ हूं. So this is the Hindi meaning, and English meaning also I have shown you. So we will go to the commentary now. Sri Jiva Goswami says, Atha basically is a avyaya. It indicates that something new is starting. Atha nija bhakti pravartanena, by propagating his own bhakti, Kali Yuga Pavana Avataram, the incarnation who purifies Kali Yuga, Visheshatah, especially Swa Ashraya Charan Kamalam, especially is the lotus, his lotus feet are the shelter of the author. Who is he? Shri Shri Chaitanya Devam Bhagavantam. He is Bhagavan Shri Shri Chaitanya Dev. Namaskaroti. And Rupa Goswami is offering obeisances to him. In which verse? Hridi iti. The verse, current verse beginning with Hridi. So Hridi Yasya Preranaya Pravartito. So in my heart, Yasya Preranaya, by whose inspiration, Pravartitah, I am engaged. Engaged in what? You did not specify. The Jiva Goswami specifies engaged in what? Asmin Sandarbhe, in this regard of writing Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, iti Shesha. This is what is missing. So Asmin Sandarbhe Aham Pravartita. In this, writing this literature, I am engaged. Varaka iti Swayam Dainyoktam. He says he has called himself Varaka. Varaka means he has called out of his own humility. Swayam Dainyen Uktam. He is called out of his own innate natural humility. But Saraswati tu tad asahamana. Saraswati being unable to tolerate. Rupa Goswami calling himself Varaka, most degraded. Therefore, Saraswati does a meaning. What meaning? So Jiva Goswami gives another meaning of Varaka. Varam. Varam means Shreshtam, the greatest. A means Samyak, completely. And Kayati, he describes. So Varaka. So the greatest subject matter he completely describes. Therefore, he is known as Varaka. The Jiva Goswami gives a completely different meaning of Varaka. Varam, Shreshtham, Samyak, Kayati, iti Varaka. Varaka is the meaning of this particular term. So Jiva Goswami, although Rupa Goswami has very nicely expressed humility, but Jiva Goswami doesn't like this so much because other people will think that Rupa Goswami genuinely is Varaka, very fallen. So therefore, in order to dispel their doubts, Jiva Goswami says that Rupa Goswami has no shortcoming. He has only written out of his humility. But even though he has written out of humility, it is possible to derive another meaning of the term Varaka. Iti tadvarenaiva tam stavayati. So tadvarenaiva tam stavayati. So by the term Varaka itself, Saraswati glorifies Rupa Goswami. Although Rupa Goswami wanted to trivialize himself, put himself down by calling himself Varaka. But tadvarenaiva, by using the same term, Saraswati glorifies him. So somebody may say, okay, Varaka means although I am the greatest, I describe the greatest subject matter. So let's go to Varaka and change this. Although I am Rupa who describes the greatest subject matter. So then this api, although, will become meaningless. Why? Because if you were fallen, then you could have said api. मैं सबसे गिरा हुआ हूं तो भी मैं लिख रहा हूं. That would make sense. But now if you take this meaning that I am most elevated scholar, then what is the meaning of api? कि मैं बहुत ऊंचा हूं फिर भी लिख रहा हूं. What is the meaning here of api? So Jiva Goswami says at the very end, mat kavitayam, in my Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, api tat preranaya eva atra pravritti syanyanyatha iti aper arthah. So so what is the meaning of api here? So the meaning of api here means basically, although I am most elevated, Varaka we have interpreted as most elevated, still in this work I have become engaged only by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's inspiration. So although I am most elevated and I can write poetry flawlessly, still api, in this work I have become engaged by the inspiration of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the meaning of api here. So this is the second verse commentary, and this ends the second verse. So does anybody want to ask anything from the second verse? Please let me know. Second verse. Yes, no, please let me know.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, no
Hare-
questions. You can go ahead.
Okay. Anybody online wants to ask anything? Okay. Now, another verse in the Arya meter, another Mangalacharan verse in the Arya meter. So I will try to recite this and then I will explain word by word. Vishram mandirataya, Vishram mandirataya, Tasya sanatana tanormadishasya, Tasya sanatana tanormadishasya, Bhaktirasamrita sindhur, Bhaktirasamrita sindhur, Bhavatu sadayam pramodaya, Bhavatu sadayam pramodaya. So, this is a verse again in the Arya meter. So, in this one also, he is praying for something. So, what is he praying for? Ayam, Sada Ayam. We can see Ayam here. Ayam. May this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, this ocean of Bhakti Rasamrita, Sada Bhavatu, may always be Vishrama Mandirataya. May it become a Vishrama Mandir, manifest as an abode of relaxation. Pramodaya, for the pleasure. Whose pleasure? Of him, Tasya, of him who is Mad Ishasya, of who is my Lord, and who is having Sanatana Tanu, who is having a form which is Sanatan or eternal. So there are two meanings here. Sanatana Tanu means who is having an eternal form, that is Bhagavan Shri Krishna is also Sanatana Tanu, and Sanatana Nama Tanu, who has a form whose name is Sanatan Goswami. So there are two meanings of Sanatana Tanu, and both are Madisha, both are lords of Rupa Goswami. So these are the two meanings of this particular verse. Please read it in sequence. Anybody who has the mic, please read the translation in sequence.
May this ocean of Bhakti Rasamrita always be manifest as an abode of relaxation for the pleasure of him who is my Lord, having a form which is Sanatan or Sanatan Goswami.
So Krishna also has a form called Sanatan. Krishna has an eternal form, and he has unlimited eternal forms. And one of the eternal forms takes eternal rest in the ocean. So Bhagwan, our Vishnu, Karanadakashayi, Garbhodakashayi, Vishnu, they are all taking rest in the ocean. So the ocean, Sindhu, becomes Vishrama Mandir for them. It becomes a abode of resting for them, for their pleasure. Similarly, let my Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu also become an abode of pleasure for our basically Sanatana Tanu, for our Lord whose body is Sanatana, our Lord whose body is eternal. So this is the verse. Anybody wants to ask any questions regarding the verse? Please ask now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, my question is actually, if we see ocean, ocean is not so place where we can relax. Means although ocean beach is there, but ocean is a fierce thing. So how here it is explained that Vishrama Mandirataya means how it is
Ocean is a resting place for whom? Sanatana Tanu. Who is Sanatana Tanu? Two meaning. What are the two meanings of Sanatana Tanu, Prabhu? Can you tell me?
Lord and Lord and Sanatan Goswami as such means
So Lord Vishnu. For Lord Vishnu, the ocean is a resting place. Yes or no?
yes, for Vishnu, correct.
And for Sanatan Goswami, this Bhakti Rasamrita ocean is a resting place. Yes or no?
That project, how I did not understand means how means
That's what he wants to do. Just like the ocean, the normal ocean is the resting place of Sanatan Bhagwan Vishnu. Similarly, let my ocean also become a resting place for Sanatan Goswami. That is the prayer.
Okay.
I hope you are able to understand.
Yeah.
So that let Sanatan Goswami always eternally take rest in this, or may Sanatan Goswami be ever present in this literature. That is the desire that Rupa Goswami has. So does that make it clearer?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Anybody else wants to ask anything? Yes. Harikrishna.
Prabhuji, we can go ahead, Prabhuji.
Okay. So Jiva Goswami starts his Durgama Samgamini. Atha, now, Nija Devavataраtvena, Nija Ishta Devavataраtvena. So by considering somebody as an avatar of his Ishtadev, by considering someone as an avatar of his Ishta Bhagwan Shri Krishna, what is he doing? Nija Gurum Stuvan. He is considering his Guru to be an avatar of his Ishtadev Krishna. So Guru is like one incarnation of Krishna. Stuvan, and he is glorifying his Guru on the pretext of glorifying Krishna. Prarthayate, and he is praying for something. In which verse? Vishrama iti. So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhur Bhavatu. What is the meaning of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhur? Bhakti Rasa Rupasya Amritasya Sindhur Iva. So it is like an Amrita Sindhu, nectar ocean of Bhakti Rasa. So it is like a nectar ocean of Bhakti. Tan Nama Ayam Granthasya. So this is the name of this literature. Shri Krishnakhyasya Madishasya Sada Svenaiva Rupena Sthitasya Eva Prakashita Nana Rupa Tanur. Ya Sanatana Namni Tanus. Tasya Vishrama Mandirataya. So there are many, vapus of Krishna, many bodies of Krishna. So amongst all those bodies, Krishna has taken one body named Sanatan Goswami. Rupa Goswami considers Sanatan Goswami to be like a manifestation of Krishna himself. Tasya Vishrama Mandirataya. May my literature become a resting abode for that Sanatan Goswami. What is the meaning of become a resting abode? Will Sanatan Goswami like take rest in the book? No. Tat tulyataya angikaran iti artha. So may Sanatan Goswami consider this literature to be like a resting place. Not that he will actually take rest on the book, but may Sanatan Goswami accept this book as his resting place. And then he says, Anyasya api Narayanakhyayaha Sada Prasiddha Samanartha Sanatana Tanur Sindur Vishrama Mandiram Bhavati. So the second meaning is that another Narayan Murti, Vishnu Murti, also eternally, he is also named Sanatana Tanu. and Sindhu, the ocean, becomes his Vishrama Mandir. The ocean, just like the ocean becomes his resting place. Similarly, let my Bhakti Rasamrita ocean become a resting place for Sanatana Tanu, my Sanatan Goswami. In this way, Rupa Goswami is comparing Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu to the ocean. And just as Vishnu takes rest in the ocean, Sanatan Vishnu takes rest. Similarly, Sanatan Goswami should also take rest. So this is, one comparison between ocean and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So we should note down, this is first comparison. There are more comparisons coming up. There are a total of 3 comparisons that will be done. So this is first comparison that is being done. So that this ocean, just like normal ocean is the residence and resting place of Vishnu, similarly, this ocean should also become a resting place of Sanatan Goswami. So this is the meaning of the verse. So does anybody have anything to ask from the commentary? The commentary on the third verse is over. See, now we are moving ahead faster. The first verse commentary was detailed. Now we are moving ahead faster. Anybody want to ask anything about this commentary? Please let me know.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Guruji, the
Krishna.
way you are explaining these verses, they are not appearing much difficult to understand. But still, Jiva Goswami has categorized them as Durgam, difficult to understand verses. So is it because of meter or because of multiple meanings or something else because of which he has categorized them?
Jiva Goswami is saying in the verses, whatever is Durgam. The verses are not Durgam, but certain sections in the verse, certain section in the book are Durgam. So therefore, because of this Durgam, whatever is Durgam, not everything is not Durgam. Some portions are Durgam. Only that much he is explaining. Like if I would not have read the commentary, I would not have understood that there is a comparison going on. Without reading the commentary, can you understand that there is a comparison of Sanatan going on? Both Sanatan, one is Sanatan Vishnu, one is Sanatan Goswami. Could you have understood it easily, Prabhu? Please tell me.
No, Prabhuji.
No. So this was a difficult spot. So who highlighted the dual meaning? Did Rupa Goswami highlight or Jiva Goswami highlight?
Jiva
Please tell me.
Goswami.
So that is why Durgama Sangamini, the difficult spot, she helped you. Therefore, she is known as Durgama Sangamini. Alright?
Yeah, yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Anybody else wants to ask anything? Yeah, there, Pranjal Prabhu, you wanted to ask something?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So Prabhuji, Sanatan Goswami taking rest in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu means like he is delighting when he reads the book. He take delight in.
Yeah. He says Vishrama Mandirataya means Tat Tulyatya Angikarena. So Sanatan Goswami should consider Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as Tat Tulya, as good as a resting place. Not a literal resting place, but as good as a resting place. Which means like just like Lord Vishnu, never wants to leave his resting place so easily. Similarly, Sanatan Goswami should also not want to leave this literature. He should constantly take delight in this. So that is तत्तुल्यतया. उसको तत्तुल्य मानने चाहिए. ऐसे अंगीकार करने चाहिए सनातन गोस्वामी. जैसे विष्णु समुद्र को अपना आश्रय निवास स्थान मानते हैं और कभी छोड़ना नहीं चाहते. वैसे सनातन गोस्वामी भी इस ग्रंथ को अपना आश्रय, अपना निवास स्थान माने, उसे छोड़ना कभी ना चाहे. See how easy it is in हिंदी. इंग्लिश में दे ही चक्की घुमाने को कितना मुश्किल हो जाता है कि नहीं? तो ये हिंदी में आपको आराम से समझ में आ जाएगा. ठीक है? So this is what is the meaning.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Anybody else wants to ask anything?
We can go ahead, Prabhuji.
Okay. Should we do one more because Sri Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu told me it's still 4:15. So I don't know how much time we have for another verse or whatever. Please let me know. Or should we pause here?
One verse we can cover, Prabhuji.
That verse is also the commentary is slightly big. So can we just do the translation and then we see the commentary next time, or do you want to see the commentary also?
Translation is enough, Prabhuji, for now.
Okay. So next verse is also Mangalacharan. So Namaskriyaatma. How is Namaskriyaatma? Because Namasyami is there at the end of the verse. I offer my so Namaskriyaatma Mangalacharan. Again Arya. So there is a famous saying. Arya Durlabhataya Bharya. There is a saying in Sanskrit. Arya Durlabhataya Bharya. Which means in Hindi Arya बहुत मुश्किल से भार्या होती है. Bharya, basically one meaning of Bharya is wife. One meaning of Bharya is to be composed. So Arya बहुत मुश्किल से compose होती है, पहला meaning. तो Arya meter is composed with great difficulty. दूसरा मतलब Arya chaste woman, बहुत मुश्किल से पत्नी बन के मिलती है. So Arya Durlabhataya Bharya. So it is difficult to find a chaste woman as a wife, and it is difficult to compose meters in the Arya Chanda. So Arya Durlabhataya Bharya. So Rupa Goswami composes so many Aryas. So that is his specialty. So let's recite this. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhau. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhau. Charatah Paribhut Kal Jal Bhiya. Charatah Paribhut Kal Jal Bhiya. Bhakta Makarana Shilita. Bhakta Makarana Shilita. Mukti Nadikan Namasyami. Mukti Nadikan Namasyami. So, I told you there will be 3 comparisons with the ocean. First comparison is already done. Lord Sanatan takes rest in ocean. Similarly, my Sanatan takes rest in this Sindhu, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. That was comparison 1. Now comparison number 2. So, what is comparison number 2? Let's see in this verse. Namasyami, I offer my obeisances. Okay, you are offering your obeisances to whom, Rupa Goswami? To Bhakta Makaran, to the shark-like devotees. So devotees are being compared to whom? To sharks. Should devotees be compared to sharks? So at the first glance, you may think, why is he comparing devotees to sharks? But there is a reason that devotees are being compared to Makaras, sharks. What is that? Why are they being compared to sharks? Because Charataha, they are swimming freely. And where are they swimming freely? Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Dear devotees, is it easy for a person to catch a shark using a net? Please tell me. Pranjal Prabhu, can you go today and you go on an adventure today trying to catch a shark in a... I will give you one net. Whichever net you want, I will purchase from the market. Do you want to go today, Prabhuji?
No, Prabhuji.
Why?
Difficult to catch, Prabhuji. Shark.
Difficult to catch.
It's under the ocean, too much.
Yes. So the shark swims freely in the ocean. Similarly, our devotees are like Bhakta Makaras. They are like sharks. They swim freely in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And you see, if you want to, in earlier days, in Rupa Goswami's time, people, if they wanted to catch fish, they would not go in the middle of the ocean. They would just catch on the surface of the ocean. Just near the shore of the ocean, they would catch. They did not have modern equipment. In those days, you could not catch a shark. If you would try to catch a shark in those days, the shark would catch you along with your net. So a shark cannot be caught. So similarly, our bhaktas are like sharks. A shark swims freely in north, south, east, west, all divisions of the ocean. Shark swims freely. Similarly, our bhaktas are going to swim freely in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I hope you are able to understand. That's why bhaktas are being compared to Makara, sharks. And see, there are many rivers which come into the ocean, but the shark never takes shelter of any river. Shark is always in the middle of the ocean. So, Ashilita Mukti Nadikan. And our devotee sharks, Ashilita. Ashilita means Anadrita. They don't give any other to Mukti Nadis, the 5 rivers of liberation, which are very tiny in comparison to Bhakti Ras, Amrita Sindhu. So, Bhakti Ras is like ocean and Mukti Ras is like river. So our shark will swim in Mukti Ras or in Bhakti Ras, Pranjal Prabhu? Which Ras will our shark swim in?
Bhakti Ras.
Bhakti Ras. So Ashilita Mukti Nadikan. Our sharks, our Bhakta Makars will disregard tiny rivers of liberation. And third characteristic, Paribhuta Kala Jala Bhiyah. The shark has no fear of jal. He has no fear of net. If anybody tries to throw a net on the shark, along with the net, the shark will eat him. So, Paribhuta, hara diya hai, defeat. They have defeated the jal, the fear of the net of time. So our bhakta like sharks, our shark like bhaktas have defeated the fear of the net of time. So even though time is passing and even though death is approaching, still our bhaktas don't care. They have defeated this fear because they are swimming in this ocean. Even if they die in due course of time, they are going to die in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and become immortal. So, Namasyami, I offer my obeisances to them. So, Pranjal Prabhu, can you read the translation in sequence, please?
Yes, Prabhuji. I offer my obeisances to the shark-like devotees swimming freely in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, who disregard the tiny rivers of liberation and who have defeated the net of all devouring time.
Yes. See, so easy. So this is the meaning of the verse. Anybody wants to ask anything? This is nice, interesting verse. Anybody wants to ask anything regarding this verse? Anybody wants to ask? Please ask. If not, then we can pause here. Yes, Pranjal Prabhu.
We have a general observation note about this verse. I wanted to shed some light upon it. Like Moon and Krishna. So Krishna is born in the Moon dynasty, Rohini Nakshatra, which is also under Moon. Then we have a deity Radha, Vrindavan, Chandrodaya Mandir. So Moon and Krishna is very much intertangled. So we can see in the Moon and Krishna are too much. So can you shed some light upon this? Apart from this Upma we learned in the first verse.
So the moon has Shodasha Kala. You know what is Shodasha Kala?
I guess 16 arts.
16 Kalas.
Kalas.
Basically, the 16 phases. And when it completes the 16 phases, it becomes Purna Chandra. So similarly, our various forms of Bhagwan, Etecha Amsha Kalaha Pumsa. I hope you have heard that verse. All others are Kalas. But when the Kalas become Purna, Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. So Krishna is like full with complete Shodash Kalas, complete 16 Kalas. So when all the Kalas come together with all the characteristics, that is the original Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. So that is another reason for comparing moon with Krishna. So that others are simply Kala, others are Amshas. When you see moon on the other days, you see Amsha. What you see is Kala, Amsha Kala, basically. Amsha and Kala. Kala basically means, one part. Amsha also means the one part of the moon. That Kala goes on increasing. But when it attains Purnatva, completion, then you get Purna Chandra, and therefore Krishna is also known as Purna Chandra. One very interesting fact. Sri Krishna appeared on Ashtami Tithi. Ashtami Tithi, moon is half. I hope you're able to. Moon is half. So Krishna appeared on half moon Tithi. And Shri Radha appeared on Ashtami Tithi. So Janmashtami, Radhashtami. And their combined form, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, appeared on Purnima, Gaur Purnima. So Ashtami and Ashtami. What is 8 plus 8? Pranjal Prabhu?
16.
16. Shodashkala Purna Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Bhagavan. That is why he appeared Purnima. And he took everything from Radha. So Radha appeared as Gadadhar Pandit on Amavasya, no moon day. So I don't know if you have heard this before. So this is the Purna Chandra. There are many similarities you can try to find. So I hope somewhat your query was somewhat satisfied.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
Anybody else from the class has anything to ask? before we pause for today?
Prabhuji, this Chandra Grahan sometime occurs. So how means in this case we can like nobody can cover Krishna, but this planet comes in between Rahu or somebody, then Chandra Grahan is there. So in this case, how comparison can be made between Krishna
Well,
and
actually, a complete comparison is not possible. Moon will always remain an entity of the material world, and Krishna will always remain an entity of spiritual world. But you can try to do an approximate comparison that sometimes Krishna disappears after Dwapar Yuga and other incarnations appear. So those incarnations are like, partial moon. Sometimes in some ages, Krishna doesn't appear at all. That's like no moon. I hope you're able to understand. So you can do an approximate comparison, but there is an exact comparison between a spiritual entity and a material entity is not always possible.
Yes.
So I hope that satisfies your query.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Pranjal Prabhu, anything else?
Very small query if you can answer. Prabhuji, where is the verse where it is written that Krishna appears in 27th Manvanta 28 Chatur Kali Yuga? Where is that verse where it is mentioned?
Where is that mentioned?
Yes, in Shastras.
Actually, this is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned. I had see here. अष्टाविंश चतुर्युगे द्वापरेर शेषे व्रजेर सहिते हय कृष्णेर प्रकाशे. Can you see?
28th. Ashtavimisha 28th Chatur.
Chaitanya CC Adi 3.10. You can see this verse.
ठीक है प्रभु.
See the translation.
At the end of Dwapar Yuga of 28th Divya Yuga, Lord Krishna appears with the full paraphernalia of eternal Brajdham. It's with every Manu or the 7th Manu only?
Every day of Brahma, once in a day.
Every day of Brahma and the 7th Manu only.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, one doubt, means one query was, there are 3 types of Mangalacharan, as you said last time. So is there any verse which states this?
Yeah, there is a verse. You want to see the verse?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Let me point out the verse to you. In Chaitanya Charitamrita. Can you see the verse? CC Adi 1.22.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Can you please read the verse?
ते मंगलाचरण हय त्रिविध प्रकार वस्तु निर्देश आशीर्वाद नमस्कार.
Yeah, read the translation.
The invocation involves 3 processes: defining the objective, offering benedictions, and offering obeisances.
Yeah, so basically Mangalacharan, you can see here Mangalacharan होया होता है त्रिविध प्रकार, 3 प्रकार का होता है. कौन सा 3 प्रकार? वस्तु निर्देशात्मक, आशीर्वादात्मक and नमस्कारात्मक या नमस्क्रियात्मक. That is what I said. CC Adi 1.22. Okay.
Yes.
You can note down the reference. All right. Anybody else? Should we pause today?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can pause. for today.
All right. So, thank you very much once again for kindly inviting me. My sincere thanks to Sri Chaitanya and Chandra Prabhu for kindly organizing these sessions. And sincere thanks to all of you who have kindly come here. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Durgam Sangamanicar Sri Jiva Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Premanande. Hari Krishna. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.